Morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeff with Fluent American checking in once more here at the Schwa Mill. This is our Saturday show at 1:30 p.m. every single Saturday. I'm going by New York time, of course. And what we do is we listen to your American English pronunciation and try to give suggestions on how to sound even more natural. I'll be your host, Jeff, and as we go through this episode today, be sure to ask any questions and things like that that you may have to make sure we can answer them as best we can. Hello to Emmanuel checking in. Great to see you again. Seeing a lot of Emmanuel in the Mission English group, which is great. Hello to Tib checking in. Maria is back as well. So many people, which is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I hope all of you have sent files. I believe you all have, except for Maria. Maybe if Maria's feeling adventurous today, we'll see something from her. But I do want to kind of just walk you through the steps in case this is your first time and you want to get some feedback for your American English pronunciation. Give me a moment just to share my screen. All right. So this is the document that you're going to see. And basically, you need to go to this link here. And I think I've actually forgotten to post it. So let me post this in the chat really quick. Hope you can click on it. If you also go to the video description, you will be able to see this link as well. But this is where you need to go if you want to submit your own file. Okay. Once there, you're going to see at the top directions, choose one options, visit vocaroo.com. This is what vocaroo.com looks like. When you click on vocaroo.com, there's going to be a big fat recorder button here. You press that record button. You can then input your audio. And then what's going to happen afterwards is you can then take that link. It's going to give you a link. You take this link. You put this link here. If you want me to know your username or any name you want to go by, you put it here. Or if you want to stay anonymous, you can leave it blank. That's fine. And something that can be helpful is writing down the words. That way I know what you're saying. So that way we don't run into any issues with regards to that. Some things are also helpful for me in knowing what your first language is or where you're currently located. Those are helpful things. And we take it from there. So it would be great to hear your pronunciation. And hopefully we get to do that soon. Now, a couple of quick questions. Hello, the Project. Great to see you again. Emmanuel asked the important questions, some technical things. What is the microphone that we're using right here? So this is the Shure SM7. Am I saying it right? They have a USB version. So this is the USB version. So that's one I'm using right now. Hopefully it's coming in clear. You guys can let me know about the audio quality if it's coming in okay. Usually it is, but you never know. Every time we do a new live stream, sometimes some settings go crazy. Hopefully I answered your question there. Hello also to Shok, who continues to send us some great adventurous audio files. I'm guessing from like books and movies and things. I'm excited to hear from her. And again, as we go through the chat, a few questions related to American English pronunciation, but also maybe related to other topics as well. Cool. We want to hear all of it. So what you can do is just post it in the chat box. As soon as I get a spare moment as we go through our stream, we'll be able to talk about it. And if you have other questions related to formatting and things of the show, be sure to let me know. And there will also be a podcast MP3 version of this same episode for those of you who like driving in your car without staring at your screens. I appreciate that, being safe. We will have that later this week. If you go to fluentamerican.com/podcasts, I can actually show you where that is. I think. Do I not have my website up? That is wild to me. I need to adjust that. Okay. But really quick, just want to show you if you want to find audio versions of this or past live streams. And then we'll be able to take a look at your guys' audio files as well. So, if you go to fluentamerican.com, that's our home. And if you go to podcast over here, you'll be able to see Schwa episodes. So, for instance, we have a version of last week's episode currently playing. You can also download them here. I think if you click that button, and then you have the download option. So those are some other ways that you can enjoy today's stream or past streams in the future. Hello also to Sycamore checking in. Great to see you, sir. It's been great working with Sycamore on the Telegram group. And I think that kind of wraps up everything from me. Let me know real quick if you guys let me know about a vowel sound or a consonant sound that you're studying this weekend, so that way we can kind of talk about it. Okay. And of course, Emmanuel's asking again serious questions. Any singer tracks? Maybe yes, maybe. Oh, that's actually a good. I don't usually erase them. So I might need to do. I don't know if I'll do a video just the singer, but I could maybe do like a podcast version of just the singer's audios, and then he can do it on his Spotify account. Make a little album for him. But yeah, I think that's it for all of the basic things. Let's kind of get into feedback. Whoa, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here? Okay. I had me headphones, so I will be able to hear you, and hopefully you'll be able to hear yourselves as well as we go through this. Okay. What's up to Justin hanging in? Great to see you, sir. Aw, shucks. I appreciate that. That's so kind to say. All right, so let's get into some files. I'm excited. Hope you are too. And we're going to go over here. Okay. So that's what we just talked about in terms of podcasts. So you're going to see I have a bunch of files already loaded up here. We're going to begin, as we've been doing recently, just with a blitz round, where basically I'm just going to listen to files really quick, just to make sure that we can get through everyone. Everyone will get at least a little bit of feedback. And then if we have more time, then we will, go into more in-depth on some, if not all of these files. Okay. And of course, if you do find the stream helpful, some things that you can do to help me out is you can do things like liking the stream.
Like what you're hearing? Let us know by liking and subscribing.
All right, let's take a listen to this first file here. I believe I'm sharing my audio.
Hi, Daddy. Oh, so now you want to be a firefighter. Even though you know your little dragon.
This file took so many turns. It's like, whoa, what is happening? There's so many things happening here. Okay. I'm for it.
Hi, Daddy. Oh, so now you want to be a firefighter. Even though you know your little dragon.
Okay. I'm liking a lot of what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a lot of breath through the sounds, which is great. I think a general placement staying low, and even the times where the placement's going high because the pitch is going high, I still think we're able to get a lot of breath through. So I commend you for that. I think those aspects really do help lend this a natural sound. Emmanuel does ask, is this from a movie? My guess is this is from a movie or a book. Would be my guess. If Shok's in the house, she can let us know. Some little things to watch out for real quick.
Hi, Daddy.
Daddy. Hi, Daddy. It said daddy. Like the E sound kind of threw me off. That's not to say it's wrong. I was expecting more daddy. Like hi, daddy. Like E. Because it's just usually for that sort of pattern, you expect it to repeat like hi, daddy. Like something like that. So that pattern just kind of threw me off. But it's not to say it's wrong.
Hi, Daddy. Oh,
some nice pitch shifting there, like starting high and then going low, like oh, that's a great practice exercise. Or similar words that, like for instance, like wow, or like no way, or like things like that. So it's a great way to kind of practice your pitches and make sure you're using all the range that you can. So I like that aspect of it.
So now you want to be a firefighter.
Really like that R sound especially at the end of fighter. Hear that?
Firefighter.
That that R sound, it can be such a tricky sound. So I really like what you're doing there. It sounds really clear, lots of breath, but not overpowered. That's the kind of R sound that you want to have. I really like that.
Even though you know your little dragon.
Think of there's something that kind of gets a little choppy here.
Even though you know you're a little dragon.
Like it felt like at first we were going to contract the "you're a little dragon," but then it was like you are a little. Like it kind of stumbled a little bit there.
Even though you know you're a little dragon.
You're like I was expecting you're a little dragon, like you're a little dragon, versus kind of what I'm getting here. Like we have some like extra syllables kind of floating around.
Even though you know you're a little dragon.
Yeah, so I would have personally recommended just using a contracted form there. I think it's going to be the thing that gives you the most natural flow. Again, we're just kind of blitzing through. I'm going to play it one more time, see if anything else stands out. And of course, if you're here, you can let me know if you have any questions about this specific file.
Hi, Daddy. Oh, so now you want to be a firefighter. Even though you know you're a little dragon.
I would also say maybe on dragon, maybe a little bit more following attention. Like dragon, like that N sound. Maybe could have had a sharper fall at the end. But again, being very nitpicky there. Thanks for sending that file. If we have time, we'll come back. But I do appreciate it. Moving right along.
She didn't come to school today, as she's been feeling under the weather for a few days.
I'm going to play that again as I load up the sentence.
She didn't come to school today, as she's been feeling under the weather for a few days.
Okay, I already have some ideas about things that I want to recommend. While I'm doing that, let me actually play that one more time and see, for everyone here in the chat, let me know what are some things that you think I'm going to say about this file.
She didn't come to school today, as she's been feeling under the weather for a few days.
I think for me, we have some sounds, some consonant sounds that are causing the throat to close and kind of shut. And, something that I'm super big on. I think the real big keys to an American English accent really come down to, firstly, placement, where you're projecting the sound from. Remember that in American English, in general, it probably is going to have a lower placement than what you are used to doing in your first language. And Tib's already kind of hinting at some of the things too. There are a lot of stresses here. I think there are a lot of stressed words, and that's also causing the sentence to be a little bit choppy. Okay, and that is also, it's not exactly the same thing that I'm talking about, but these two things together lead to a sentence that is unable to flow as well as it could. So placement, but the other thing is also going to be breath. And I've been talking about this a lot. I have a group called Mission English, where basically every single day, Monday through Friday, it's a live stream in a private group that you can join. We'll talk more about that later. But basically, this is a topic we've been talking about a lot this week, where a lot of people, when they're talking in their first language, a lot of first languages, like for instance, European languages, I'm looking at you. This is also true for Asian languages as well. A lot of languages are projecting pretty heavily from like the lungs, okay, but not as much use of the diaphragm. Not sure if you can see this. Front cam's not the best, but the side cam might be able to get. So you want to be projecting more from like here, okay? You want to be using your diaphragm, which is down in your stomach. If you're not sure what your diaphragm is, think about like when you laugh. Like you find something like really, really, really funny, and your stomach starts hurting. Well, that's because your diaphragm is engaging a lot. That's your diaphragm muscles in there. They're used to help you breathe. So we want to try to engage our diaphragm more when we're talking. That's going to be very instrumental in trying to get a more natural sound in American English pronunciation. So we want to try to get our diaphragm a little bit more involved with our breath. So for instance, an example of a word from our audio where we can just do some quick practice exercises with. Let's play this again.
She didn't come to school today.
Today. That A sound, because you're kind of giving me more of like an A versus an A. So just a couple quick practice exercises. This is not just for this audio file. This is, for most of the people watching this stream, I think this is an exercise you'll be able to find helpful. Let me go back here. I want to pay attention, especially to the side cam. But I want you guys with me. We'll do some breathing exercise. So firstly, what I want you to do, I want you to take a deep breath in So you can do it with me, like, and then exhale. Okay, how'd that feel? Did that feel nice? Hopefully it's a nice ASMR for you. But as you took that deep breath in, something I want you to be mindful of, I want you to ask yourself, what were your shoulders doing? When you took that deep breath in, did you go like, where your shoulders suddenly are like up around your neck? Or going really high towards your chin? Okay, or your jaw? If that's the case, you took that deep breath in and your shoulders rose, then my challenge for you would be to try to take a deep breath in, but keep your shoulders down. Because what's happening is when you have your shoulders raised like that, you are moving the muscles in parts of your throat. For instance, there's a part called the larynx. When you raise your shoulders, you are raising your larynx, and that's going to cause things to close off in your throat. It's going to kind of tense up as well. Thanks for tip, keeping me posted on what happened. Yeah. So as you breathe in, by keeping your shoulders down, you're actually allowing more air to pass through. So like other things that you can do, if you, for instance, doing this a lot again in the Mission English group, we take our fists, take our knuckles, if you put them on your ribs, you can see it more in the side cam. Take a deep breath in. And you can literally see it there. If you look at the live stream, you can play back the last 5 seconds. Notice that my fists move out. They press against my ribs. My ribs expand as I breathe in. And then as I exhale, what happens? My hands start going back in. Your ribs are not static. They need to be flexible to a degree. So as you inhale, it opens up. And as you exhale, it contracts again. So by paying more attention to that sort of thing, we want to try to engage our diaphragm more when we're talking. If any of you, does anyone here have music experience? Anyone here have singing experience specifically? Let us know, because these sorts of exercises are taken from breathing exercises for singers. But if we take that A sound, for instance, from today, that we had in our file. Today originally was sounding very closed off in the throat. It's like today, versus today. So for instance, if I inhale, you can see my hands expand, my knuckles expand. And then on the exhale, I'm going to say A. You can again see my knuckles pressing closer together slowly. So again, okay. Because notice what happens if I just say pay attention to what my knuckles do. Well, now my knuckles aren't really moving, right? Let's keep the breath flowing. And at the very end, I keep that breath flowing, and then you can see more movement with my knuckles. Okay, so doing exercises like that can just help build some more awareness of trying to breathe through your diaphragm. So in general, you want to feel a little bit more tension through here. Okay, that's going to indicate when you're speaking. In theory, every sound, you want to feel a little bit of movement there in your diaphragm, a little bit of engagement. And that's going to be a sign that you're engaging that area of your body more, as opposed to just producing and projecting sound from more like your lungs. Okay. One last example. Let's do another sound. Let's do like the E sound. Okay, so I'm going to say it twice. The first time I'm going to try to project more from my lungs. Second time I'm going to try to project more from my diaphragm. Okay. So I'm going to breathe in. Today. Okay. Today. Okay, a little bit more movement there. Okay. Tib does not have a singing experience. Doesn't mean you can't be a singer, though. Tib, do you like to sing, or you're like, only in the shower, or like never? Yeah, I mean, the diaphragm, using your core is such a key component. If you're not using your diaphragm when you talk, you will just never be able to project your voice as well as you could. Okay. Try to engage your diaphragm when I speak, but you end up shrinking your stomach. Like your stomach actually like goes in? I mean, that's not a bad thing. I'm not sure if I'm understanding right, but like for instance, you should, as you exhale and as you talk, that is what should happen. You should feel it contracting. So for instance, you can see my hands slightly moving in. Okay, it might be a little bit hard to see, but in general, you should feel your stomach kind of moving in a bit. Okay, that's a good thing. We want that. to happen. Okay. In theory, it's not even just your stomach. It should also be your back. So another thing that you can do is, and this is something I talked about in my last breathing exercise, is if you make little like lobster hands and you put them not on your ribs, but not on like your pelvic bone, you put them in between. Okay. So where it's just kind of flesh. If you put your hands there and you breathe in and keep pressing your hands against your stomach and your back with your pinchers. So press against, you're going to feel your stomach on this part and you're going to feel your back against your thumb. Okay. And as you breathe in, what you should feel is that not only does your stomach expand, but then your back also expands as well. Okay. And if you're not feeling that, that's okay, but kind of just something to build awareness of, trying to get your whole core a little bit more involved. Okay. It's just something to be aware of there. The sounding nasal. This is a great question here.
Question.
Let me get quick water. The sounding nasally come from not breathing with your diaphragm. To me, while that certainly can be a factor, I think it's also a placement related issue. It sounds to me like you're projecting. It sounds to me like you're projecting from like right here. You notice now I'm trying to change my placement to talk from a more nasally spot. Versus now I'm trying to, again, engage my diaphragm more, but I'm also lowering my placement, trying to engage the diaphragm, but also project from a lower position. Okay. So instead of talking here, I try to talk more here. Okay, that can have an impact. I think if you're able to engage your diaphragm more, that will help more air to pass through your throat. But I do think that this sounds to me like a placement issue. That's something we can pay attention to in the audio file as well. If you remind me, just remind me, because I forget things. Okay. Nameless and Faceless is back. Thank you. I haven't changed. I got that camera, but it's actually just my phone, and that's why it's not the greatest quality. Ito,
Question.
great to see you again. How can you tell if not enough breath coming out? Any signs of not enough breath? I mean, compare. So, for instance, compare. Let's listen to our original sound again. So, I want you to listen to the word today. Today, when he says today, this is going to be an example of a word that does not have enough breath coming through.
She didn't come to school today.
Today, today, versus today, today. So again, compare my today, today,
She didn't come to school today.
today, 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 today. You know, so it's, as you get more used to it, you can kind of feel it in your throat when your throat's kind of closing off. I'll see if I can identify if there's another sound. That would be a good example.
As he's been feeling under the weather for a few days.
Weather, maybe?
For a few days. To school today. As he's been feeling under the weather.
Weather versus weather. You know, the R sound, there are definitely some consonants that tend to cause things to close up. So you want to be mindful of, for instance, the letter R, the letter L, the letter N. There are others as well, but these are kind of the main consonants you do want to be mindful of. They can cause even the most open vowel to suddenly close and shut, can block more air. Okay, so some things to watch out there. But again, as you get more used to it, you know, compare. Do those same exercise we did earlier with breath. Like do like an A sound that's like projecting more from here, like A. And do it again, trying to get the diaphragm more involved, like A. So again, A. One other issue I see a lot is what's happening when people are talking is they are stopping the breath. The breath is just kind of dying as soon as a word is done. So if I say, like, for instance, hey, well, that the breath just died there. Hey, I just stopped it. My throat shut. It's over. But if I say, like, hey, well, now, even though the A sound is finished, there's still a little bit of breath that continues flowing even afterwards. Hey. Another example, like the E sound. Like if I say, like, C. Well, now I'm just kind of closing things off as soon as the vowel's finished. C. But if I say more, C, Well, now the air is continuing to flow a little bit more. This is one of the reasons why if you listen to native speakers talk and you're like, oh, wow, all the words are just kind of running together. Everything feels really connected. One of the techniques that native speakers are using is they're just not ever letting the breath stop until pretty much like the end of the sentence. Like, for instance, even as I'm talking right now, it's not choppy because I'm not ever really letting the breath just die. It's always flowing from one word to the next. If I talk more like this, well, now what I'm doing is I am inserting more breaks. I am stopping the breath as soon as a word is finished. And now the sentence feels a little bit choppier. But if I talk like this, now everything's kind of flowing together, and it's really just because the breath is continuously flowing from one word to the next and never really letting it stop. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have some questions about that, be sure to let me know. Let's go back to this file, though, because we spent a lot of time not talking about this file. I don't want to be helpful. Let me see what button do I need to press. So many buttons. There we go. Took a second. Okay. So going back to this.
She didn't come to school today.
I like that first part. She didn't come to
school today.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you could still insert more breaths to connect things even a little bit more, but the general pitch pattern and sounds I like.
She's been feeling under the weather.
Weather. Watch out for weather. I know that THER combinations can be a little bit tricky. So like if you could do this exercise with me really quick, I'm just going to give you some things to try. So if you could do like other, weather, other weather, other weather, other weather, other weather. One thing I will also say is that when I'm doing this, I'm keeping the tip of my tongue down against the bottom of my mouth. Other weather, other weather, other weather. The other trick actually is that I don't have any part of my tongue really touching my top front tooth. I don't have any contact there. And this might go against what feels natural to you, and it may go against what teachers have told you about, when you have a TH sound, you need to, have some contact. Yeah, you can, but it's not necessary. Sometimes that TH can actually be distracting and also cause your sound to actually be choppier. It's not weather, it's weather. If that lower position TH, if that's something you're interested in practicing, but you're finding it difficult, one thing you can try doing too is to have the sides of your tongue touch your top teeth. So it's almost like you're biting the sides of your tongue. It's like weather. That's with me again. Sides of my tongue touching my top teeth. My tongue is not touching my top front tooth, and the front of my tongue is actually down. Okay, so some tips there on weather. Other things for this file.
For a few days.
For a few days versus a few days. I want to hear that again.
Weather for a few days.
Weather for a few days.
She didn't come to school today, as she's been feeling under the weather for a few days.
This is something that I see, and again, I forget in the file if this is a Mandarin speaker, but this is definitely something I see more in Mandarin than in other languages, is stress with like numbers and nouns that follow them.
The weather for a few days.
For a few days. So stress on few. She's been feeling under weather for a few days. A few days. Feeling under the weather for a few days. I would have probably recommend stressing more days heavier for a few days. Been feeling under weather for a few days. Been feeling under weather for a few days. This is the same thing, for instance, if you say like $5, stress dollars in most situations, or like 100 students or 100 students, stress students. There's a tendency for some language groups to want to stress the number, saying like $5. But the truth is that in general, it's more like $5, stressing dollars, or like 10 people. But the more natural stress would actually be 10 people. I guess so just kind of watching out for that. I see some questions that come in, which is great. I'll be right there. Just one last comment for this audio file.
She didn't come to school today.
I want to hear school.
She didn't come to school today.
School versus school. So this oo sound in school. Just some important notes here. So school, for long vowels, this is considered a long vowel. And for your long vowels are like A, E, I, O, U. Those are your long vowels. Okay. When they link with the letter L, it's actually going to break into two parts. So it's going to do your vowel sound. So in this case, like ooh. And then what you want to do is add an sound afterwards. So it's going to be like ooh, ooh. So like, for instance, here it would be school, school. It's not school, it's school. Or like rule or tool. Okay, so this kind of some things to also watch out for there. Okay, but thanks for sending that audio file. If we have time, we'll come back to it, talk about some other things, but I think that's plenty to get you started with. Going back to the TH question. So let's hold for an unvase. Yes, this is true for all TH sounds. True for all TH sounds. So the breath should be flowing at the end of words. Yes, don't let the breath never stops. Never stop breathing. It's just like for life, right? Never stop breathing. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. Ludwig, I see your question. I'll be right there. What's the difference in pronunciation between final T and the glottal T? For example, appreciate and eaten. In that case, yeah, I would say for our American English, I can't speak for British English, but for American English, if you say appreciate and you say eaten, appreciate, eaten, same idea. It's the same idea. You could say appreciate with like a true T sound, but very often that sound is held, in all honesty. Okay. Eaten, you're not really going to hear it pronounced as eaten, and you're really going to hear it as eaten. In American English, you're always, because this comes before an N, you're almost always going to hear that it's pronounced like eaten, eaten. Great question. I know he says he's from Japan in the file, but his accent doesn't sound Japanese. It sounds way more Mandarin to me. If he's here, I would love to be correct to be like, no, I'm 100% Japanese. I don't know why you're saying that, Jeff. But the trademarks of his pronunciation are, I don't hear Japanese in that. I hear Mandarin. But I could be way off. Okay, we answered that. Great, we're great. Question. Never apologize for a beginner question. If there is one person asking the question, there are 1,000 other people that have the same question. So thank you for asking it. What is the difference in sound between a TH and an F? Unfortunately, I was taught... Oh no, Ronnie taught that the TH sounds like an F. And oh no! I'm sorry that happened. It is tough to unlearn and then relearn new styles. Okay, so a real quick summary for an F sound, though, is this is also true for V's. F and V's are kind of parallel sounds. It's just that for an F, your vocal cords don't vibrate, and for a V, your vocal cords do. But for F's and V's, the technical way, I'll explain more in a moment, but the technical way you're supposed to produce those is with your top teeth making some contact here with your lower lip. So you need contact with your tooth in your top, with your top tooth and your bottom lip. So like, okay, just to give you some quick words like that. Fin, fan. Fair. I'm trying to think of some words that I can also parallel with a TH. Okay, so look at these words here. So fin, fan, fair. Fin, fan, fair. Fin, fan, fair. Okay? Now, don't forget that in American English, we're focusing on vowel sounds more than consonant sounds. So don't let the F dominate. You don't want to say like fin, fan, fair. No one's going to like that. So focus more on the vowel sound that comes after. So more of that and air, in and air, fin, fan, fair. In and air, fin, fan, fair. Okay. Now, I will be honest that in rapid speech, that contact between your tooth and your lip can be very fast and very, very light. It doesn't have to be super extensive. Okay, but that's kind of the fundamentals to doing it. For the TH sound, it's kind of a tricky one. So the standard way, if you open a textbook, what this textbook is going to tell you to do is it's going to tell you to put your tongue between your teeth. So doing like a kind of sound like that. So doing, for instance, a word like thin, thin. That works great. The only issue is that it can be difficult to link that with other words, especially very quickly in a sentence, especially if the TH sound is reduced, like it's not the main stress sound in what you're talking about. So another way that you can pronounce that is what we talked about earlier, where actually the tip of your tongue stays down and the sides of your tongue just touch your top teeth. So like a, so for instance, like thin, 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 thin. A sound like that. Okay, and you might be like, oh, but that sounds horrible, Jeff. Well, yeah, on its own, if you just do it by itself, it doesn't sound great. But if you put it in a whole sentence, like I'll be there within 2 minutes. 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 You know, things like that. It'll actually maybe easier to do that lower position on like within instead of saying within. You know, it's just a note on that. Another way you can make THs too, which can also be helpful with transitions, especially going from like a TH sound to an S, is to take the tip of your tongue and press lightly against your top front tooth. So not your bottom tooth. Don't put it in the middle. Raise it a little higher and do like a th sound. So like, for instance, if I say a word like paths, paths. Well, now because my tongue is higher and it's pressed against my top front tooth, I just have to keep sliding up, up, up into the S, like it's like paths. Okay. Let's end this discussion here, unless you have some more questions about it, with some quick comparisons. Give me one moment. Type some words.
Like what you're hearing? Let us know by liking and subscribing.
Okay. Here's quick words for us. Okay. So, first word you'll see is always with an F sound. Second sound is with a TH. The last TH will be a voice TH. The other ones will be a voiceless. Okay. So, see if you can hear the difference between fin, thin, fan, thank, fair, there. These are all being made with the tip of my tongue against my top front tooth. So again, fin, thin, fan, thank, fair, there. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Great explanation. Yay! Appreciate it. Saw that the TH at the beginning is pronounced like a T, and in the middle. Oh wow, that's got you. that's all I have to say about that. Okay. Well, I would try these adjustments and see how that goes for you. Yeah. Really quick, guys. You know, as we're going through files, and have we only done 2? This is our bliss round. We've done 2 files in 40 minutes. But okay. Just a quick reminder, you know, if you're finding this helpful, we do have a couple different options for you that you can use to continue getting some help during the week and things like that. Oh God, where is everything? There it is. Okay. So one of the first things that we have, and we'll talk about other opportunities a little bit later, but the very first thing we have is our Telegram group, which is pretty much every single day of the week on Telegram, the app. I post a challenge. I have an assistant with me named Lenore, who is great. And this is every single day of the week. Some of you guys are already members of the Telegram group, so you can let people know how it is for you. But I post an audio file. I post some group of words for you to say. Then you can send in your own pronunciation files and get feedback for it. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in getting, I really encourage you to please check out our Telegram group. I think you will like it. It's available at patreon.com/fluentamerican. A quick preview.
Please. I think your O sounds are a little bit tense. Take off the T on center.
And again, if you go to patreon.com/fluentamerican, you can join that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, I wouldn't even know how to do that. Wouldn't even know how to do that. That's wild about that advice. I think we're saying it's help know you can also press tip of your tongue in the lower teeth for the unvoiced TH. That's also true for the voiced as well. Okay, but I think it's especially helpful when the TH words are not stressed. Okay. It can affect the clarity of your sound. So if you find that if you do that technique and it doesn't work for you because things get too mushy, then yeah, maybe you want to keep your tongue pressed against your top front tooth, just to know. So do be careful with that. It's may not work best in every single situation. All right, I think we did that. Just want to check one thing.
Hi.
Okay, that one we looked at.
Day.
That one we looked at. Moving right along with our blitz session, supposedly. I know it's been taking a while. I'm sorry, guys. Let's check out this file.
It gets weirder. He bought it for almost twice the market value with the help of a mysterious wire transfer.
Man, these have been some very interesting audios. Everyone's sending me some very interesting files. Second word, let me know where you got this from. Okay, let's play that one more time. I think it's this one.
It gets weirder. He bought it for almost twice the market value with the help of a mysterious wire transfer.
Very first thing that's going to jump out to me for transfer. Your R sound. We talked earlier about breath, not letting the breath die. You killed your breath. It just stopped. It just ended at the end of that R on transfer.
Value with the help of a mysterious wire transfer.
Transfer versus transfer. Clear difference between transfer and transfer. Okay, so it's just letting that breath continue flowing. Don't kill your breath. You need to breathe. Can't live if you don't breathe. Some quick things from the beginning. I'm guessing this is from a show or something. Let's see the first part.
It gets weirder.
It gets weirder. So you put a lot of weight on gets. I personally probably would have stressed it weirder, honestly. But I like how you read it. I'm not opposed to it.
It gets weirder.
Hear all that? And that's, Sycamore, I'm mad at you. Because listen to how you did that R on weirder, that last R.
It gets weirder.
Weirder. So you gave me it there.
Transfer.
And then you gave me transfer. Weirder. Transfer. Why? I'm messing with you, but just kind of something to pay attention to. Okay. And for those curious about this, sounds like a crime or detective thing or something. Maybe gang, mafia related. Movie called Dangerous. Fitting for the title.
It gets weirder. He bought it for almost twice the market value.
I think on value, again, you could have extended the breath a little bit.
It's the market value.
Market value.
For almost twice the market value with the help of a mysterious wire transfer.
What do you hear with the help again?
Value with the help of...
With the help. Compared to, I've heard just listening to you in other files and things, I like your short I hear more, but I do think it's still slightly getting into E territory. With versus with.
Twice the market value with the help.
It does help that the fact that this width is reduced, so you can, I don't want to say you can hide it, but it's certainly weakened. Playing the son of Clint Eastwood. Like, the son of Clint Eastwood is a character in this thing, or he's the actor saying this dialogue. Other things here.
It gets weirder. He bought it for almost twice the market value.
Here, he bought it.
Weirder. He bought it for almost. He bought it for almost twice the.
For almost. Almost.
There. He bought it for almost.
He bought it for almost. I think maybe a little bit on all that all could have been just a little bit lower in placement. He bought it for almost.
He bought it for almost twice the market value.
Value. Try to get, again, that ooh sound on value. I would do this exercise really quick, like ooh, you, value. Ooh, you, value. Trying to keep it just slightly lower and a little bit more open. But this is minor.
Market value with the help of a mysterious wire transfer.
Okay, just making sure. just clarifying. Other last things.
It gets weirder. He bought it for almost twice the market value with the help of a mysterious wire transfer.
Help of a mysterious wire transfer. Yeah, you know, anything, all the things I've said are very nitpicky. I think the general way you read this was fine. One thing you could play around with and something that, again, kind of just having, you know, work with you a little bit. I would encourage you to experiment a little bit with pitches because you're still kind of staying a little bit grounded.
It gets weirder.
Like, it gets weirder, you know, it gets weirder. You know, it gets weirder versus it gets weirder. I think, you know, you could play around pitches there to make it even more dramatic, especially if you're doing like some acting and things like that. It gets weirder. You know, notice how much lower you could go with the weirder.
He bought it for almost twice the market value.
He bought it for almost twice the market value. So like everything, we're kind of bouncing between like this like 2 or 3 pitch range, you know. So nothing's really getting heavy stress. Let's throw some heavy stress somewhere. Like he bought it for almost twice the market value, you know, or something like that. Just add some intrigue, add some interest, break it up more, make it stand out more. So I would encourage you to play around with the pitches there.
With the help of a mysterious wire transfer.
With the help of a mysterious wire transfer. You know, so you could have played around with that part as well. So I would experiment with the stresses a little bit. I think we're playing it very safe. And that's fine, but I think we could also make this sound a little bit more engaging. Just some rapid thoughts there. Thank you as always for sending this file. I do appreciate it. Hope you found those tips helpful. Before moving on to our next one.
I'm getting all gussied up.
Denny's getting all gussied up. I'll be honest, I'm not. I've never used the phrase gussied up before. I will be honest. Which one is this one?
I'm getting all gussied up.
Okay, I'm getting all gussied up. I'm getting all gussied up.
I'm getting all gussied up.
Yeah, let me think about that for a moment. I see it as a question. Pressing the... Oh, wow, that's weird. Look how trippy that is on the side cam. My arm is so, like, because of the perspective. Whoa, that's freaky. Anyways, when pressing the tip of your tongue against your bottom teeth, how to pronounce the D versus the TH and they. Use the middle of your tongue. So that's your first option, is instead of using the tip of your tongue, use more of the middle of your tongue. Like, duh, duh. That's what to my tongue down against the bottom of my mouth. Not sure if you can see that. Let me zoom in. Need to make myself bigger. So like, duh, duh, duh. Not sure you can see. So you can see the tip of my tongue is low. Now I'll make that duh sound. Duh, duh. Notice that my tongue's not really moving. Versus like, duh, duh, duh. You can see my tongue kind of flapping a little bit there. That's when I was making contact higher. But I can make it lower. Duh, duh, duh. Okay. So that's one option. The other option too is that maybe you're just weakening it entirely. Maybe you don't need to have like a strong duh sound. You know, if I say like, you see this for instance like fast D sounds. Like if I say the word little, you know, now the tip of my tongue is in the middle of my tongue is low the entire time. It's just the mid back of my tongue rising and falling really quick. Little. Okay. Hello to Rays. Or rise? Which way? Is it raise or rise? Or am I just doing horrible with both of those? But thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you. Send us an audio file. Great to hear from you. Manuel asks, what is gussied up? Gussied up means like getting like real fancy or dressed up for something special. Apparently. Again, not a phrase I'm used to. Raise. Appreciate that. Cool. Great to have you, sir. Go back to the file.
I'm getting all gussied up.
I'm getting all gussied up. So this is such a short sentence. I don't have a whole lot to say.
I'm getting all gussied.
I'm getting all.
So
So you're using reductions on, for instance, instead of getting all, more getting all. Okay, fine. I'm for that. Cool.
I'm getting all gussied up.
Gussied up.
Gussied up.
Gussied up. Versus gussied up. Gussied up. Gussied up.
Gussied up.
Maybe very slight modification of your schwa sound on up. It's like versus gussied up. Okay, so I would say maybe take a look at your up sound, see if you get it slightly lower and slightly more air through your throat. That's not to say that the way you're saying it right now I think is wrong or anything. It's just, hey, is it possible to get a little lower? Is it possible to get a little bit more air through?
Dog.
Besides that,
I'm getting all gussied up. I'm getting all gussied up.
yeah, that's probably going to be my biggest thing here, just gussied up for the sound on up. Yeah, I wish I had more, but this is pretty short.
I'm getting all gussied up.
Yeah, in general, I think it sounds fine. You're linking things together. Gussied up, you're linking that D sound. Getting it all, it feels pretty linked together too. So in general, yeah, I like it. Cool. Great to hear from you, man. Hope you're doing well. Stop by the stream sometime. I haven't drunk water since last time you appeared on a live stream. I shouldn't be alive. Our next one.
I think I'm going to hit the sack, actually.
I think I'm going to hit the sack, actually. Hit the sack? Nice expression for going to bed. Another pretty short one. I think my big thing here is, I shouldn't play this 2 times. What do you think what's going to be my biggest piece of advice for this audio file? What do you guys think?
I think I'm going to hit the sack, actually.
What's going to be my biggest piece of advice for this file?
I think I'm going to hit the sack, actually.
Well, I think actually is one word that's really standing out to me.
Actually.
Your E sound, I think, is being impacted by the L's on actually.
Hit the sack, actually.
Actually. Versus actually. I think we're going to sack, actually. So a couple things here. Actually is probably going to have more of a dark L sound. So you can actually keep the tip of your tongue down against the bottom of your mouth. Keep the tip of your tongue down. Okay. And the other thing that you probably want to pay attention to as well is probably more of a lower pitch, a little bit more open. So instead of E, more A, actually. No, it's just like 3 steps down, like actually. Most likely, actually, is not going to get your stress. Probably going to be on sack. I think I'm going to hit the sack, actually. Sack can have your highest pitch potentially, although it could be think at the start, like think I'm going to hit the sack, actually. Or you could do, you think I'm going to hit the sack, actually. Regardless, though, actually, it's probably not going to get that much weight. So do pay attention to those reduction aspects, trying to get the sound a little lower.
I think I'm going to hit the sack, actually.
So that's kind of the rhythm you have.
I think I'm going to hit the sack.
Versus, I'm kind of contemplating like, hey, maybe we just need one stress. Maybe we don't need to stress on think and sack. Maybe we just do one. Like if I just stress think, like think I'm going to hit the sack, actually. Or if you stress sack, think I'm going to hit the sack. As opposed to having a stress on both.
I think I'm going to hit the sack.
Think I'm going to hit the sack. Versus think I'm going to hit the sack, or think I'm going to hit the sack. So I'll play around with some of the stresses there. But in terms of actual things for like corrections, I would say take a look at actually. I would take a look at, in fact, all L sounds that link with a vowel. Because my guess is that L's are causing you to tense up the vowels that come after them. Okay, so that would be probably my biggest piece of advice. Hopefully you found that helpful. If it wasn't, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see what's next.
Hey everyone, Jeff.
All my troubles seem so
Okay, all right.
All right, I think it's time for us to be amused, entertained. We don't deserve him, but We're so thankful that he continues to send us files. I think this time he's actually sent us a song. And so without further ado, yes, in the words of Emmanuel, it is time for this.
Quante patria, e I see upon that layer and say,
I think this is Italian, but I don't understand any. Oh my gosh.
Lost his play at all. Oh, you so able.
All right. Well, I have no critiques for that. It wasn't even English. But yeah. So thank you to the singer for gracing us. I really, it's just speechless. just speechless. What is there to say? I feel bad for whoever has to follow this.
Actually.
All right, moving right along. Got a 6-second file here. Let's see what we got.
Do unto others like you will have them do unto you.
Okay, going biblical. So do to others. Let's play this again.
Do unto others like you will have them do unto you.
As you would have them do unto you. So I don't think this was in the chat box. All right, see if you can make sure you can hear that one last time.
Do unto others like you will have them do unto you.
Have them do unto you. Do unto others, should have them do unto you. So you're stressing do. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Right?
Do unto others like you will have them
do unto others. Yeah, stressing do.
Do unto you.
Have them do unto you. And then stress on you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So you're stressing do and you. Okay. I'm trying to think back to times I've heard this phrase said. Again, come from the Bible. You can probably find variations of this on Youglish if you're looking for some more comparisons. But my guess, do unto others, I was kind of thinking more stressing others, like do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But I actually in some ways do like the stress on do because, you know, English in general doesn't like it when things become too predictable. And so if you're like do unto others as you would have them do unto you, it's predictable. Like do unto others, do unto you. You know, you would kind of expect that pattern, but by stressing do, you kind of break that pattern a little bit. Like do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So I'm okay with the stresses. That's fine.
Do unto others like you will have them do unto you.
As you would have them. Notice that as you would have them, that part gets a little bit choppy, which makes sense because you're squeezing a lot of short words that aren't stressed together.
Like you will have them do.
As you would have them. As you would have them.
Others like you will have them do.
As you would have them. If you wanted a more natural sound, there was some natural linking. You'd probably hear more like as you'd have them, as you'd have them. So you'd probably get a lot more contractions, more like as you'd have them. It would probably sound something more like this, like as you'd have them, as you'd have them. Okay, instead of as you would have them, or as you'd have them, as you'd have them. If linking concerns you.
Do unto others like you will have them do unto you.
The other thing, though, it does sound a little bit flat. Again, I feel like you're giving me a range of maybe about 3 pitches. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So I would really recommend, yes, lots of linking, because you know we love linking here. You know that. You know we always be linking in this room. It sounds flat. I would play around with pitches to make this a little bit more dynamic. Because I think right now everything's kind of sounding very equal. To give an example of that,
Do unto others like
do unto others, do unto others, something like that. Or do unto others. You know, you could have gone higher on your stresses. Do unto others, if you want to stress do. Do unto others
you would have them do unto you.
as you would have them do unto you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do unto others as you would. So that as you'd, you know, that part should be super low. I would take that even a step lower. So go higher on your highs, go lower on your lows if you want to make this sound a little bit more dynamic. One last time for sake comparison. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Do unto others like you would have them do unto you.
Yeah. I also think, again, that middle section just gets a little bit choppy. As you would have them, and then that pause, do unto you. You know, so compare mine to yours a little bit to get some ideas on things you could do with the linking. Okay, I think that will help. And yes, this is our golden rule. Great advice. We don't just give English advice here. You know, we give in things that are going to help you out in life. Anyways, am I the only one that thinks that? Let's see our last original group here.
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Is there any chance you have like an extra $1 or two for gas? I forgot my wallet.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I got bum rushed right from the beginning.
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Is there any chance you have like an extra $1 or two for gas? I forgot my wallet.
Okay, but not bad. Let's see what we got here. Okay. By the way, guys, you can see, I see Justin has sent us a file. Thank you, Dustin. Or, did I say Dustin? Justin. Excuse me. What am I saying? Who am I? Okay. That was fast. Yeah, I feel like I rushed. One question from Justin. Is he dropping this tease? Let's see. Is he spilling tea on the floor? Let's take a look at that again.
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you.
That's a pretty strong tease. Sorry to, you know, versus sorry to. I would have actually expected that to be more of a fast D sound. Because sorry, ending on the vowel sound E, to that oo sound after the T. So you have this T that's surrounded by vowels. So most likely you're going to get a fast D sound. So instead of sorry to, more sorry to bother you.
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Is there any chance you have like an extra $1 or two for
extra $1 or two? Extra $1 or two.
An extra $1 or two for gas? I forgot my wallet.
I forgot my wallet. I'm hearing held T.
Gas? I forgot my wallet.
I forgot my wallet. Yeah, I'm hearing some held T sounds.
I forgot my wallet.
Yeah. So I would not say it's dropping the T. I would say it sounds more like a held T or a stop T, which is super, super natural. You're not, again, true T sounds in English are just so rare. You know, unless a T is starting a word, you're just not very likely to hear a T pronounced as a t. Much more likely to hear it held. Yeah. Held T or stop T. Yep. Good question. Great technique to sound natural. We mentioned Nasarida. So I would take a look at that for linking. I think it will just give you a slightly more natural sound there.
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Is there any chance you have like an extra $1?
We hear extra.
Any chance you have like an extra $1? Is there any chance you have like an extra $1 or two for
extra versus extra?
You have like an extra $1.
Extra. I do feel like your placement's a little bit high on that S out on extra. Like X, say X like 3 times to yourself, like X. Are you saying X, or are you saying X? You know, so trying to keep it low and open. Okay, in the throat, lots of air passing through. Okay, so it's not extra, it's more extra.
Like an extra $1 or two for gas.
Your rhythm also gets pretty disrupted there. An extra $1 or two.
Chance you have like an extra $1 or two for
do that $1 or two. Very choppy. You know, it's weird because there's parts of this that are really flowing very naturally. Things are linked, but then there's other parts where it just kind of disappears, and this is one area where that happens.
$1 or two.
$1 or two. It feels like work. It feels like work for you saying that.
You have like an extra $1 or two.
$1 or two, you know, versus $1 or two. $1 or two. A lot of times when you have a word that ends in an R followed by like an or sound, you're going to hear like dollar. So it's like more adding like an dollar, Dollar or two. Do you have an extra dollar or two? Dollar or two. So that's a very common pattern you see when one word ends with an R and the next word is like an or R's, things like that. So just a very common thing. Another example of that, if you tried to say like, instead of saying like there are, you know, because typically you're not stressing R, you'd be much more likely to hear that pronounced as like there. Like if I say, for instance, like there are two cars. Okay, so if I say this here, there are two cars. There are two cars. You know, instead of saying there are two cars, because it's kind of hard to say there are two cars versus there are two cars. So this is another common way you can join those together. See if anything else stands out from this file here.
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Is there any chance you have like an extra dollar or two for gas? I forgot my wallet.
I forgot my wallet.
Yes, I forgot my wallet.
Wallet. So with wallet, you're putting equal weight on both syllables. Wallet. But the reality is that that second syllable on wallet is probably, I mean, that's not stressed. So you can make that a lot weaker. It doesn't have to be as strong as the first syllable. So wallet, wallet. I forgot my wallet. You know, so you could go a little longer on your first syllable and you could go faster on your second syllable. And that's one way you can kind of compensate for that. I forgot my wallet. You could also use rising intonation if you're trying to maybe get some sympathy or something. That's a way to kind of soften things, is to use a rising intonation.
Yes, I forgot my wallet.
I forgot my wallet. Ludwig goes back to ask question. Mixing there and R, there. Yeah, exactly. It's like there. Like there are two cars. There are two problems. There are so many kids here. Things like that. There. Okay. Ludwig, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Really quick, if you have not sent us a file yet, there is still time. I know there's at least one file I have not seen just yet. Some other things too. If the case is your first time, or maybe you're lurking. By the way, if you are someone that's just lurking, you've been in the streams before. If you've seen one other stream before, but you've never said anything, can you just you can disappear again, and I'm okay with that. But can you just say like hi? Or if you're watching this in the replay and you've never seen us live, can you be like, hey, I'm here in the replay, just saying hello. Things like that. Just curious. Some other things you can do too is to really consider sending us a file. I know some people get shy or nervous because they're like, oh my gosh, people are going to hear me. My accent's so horrible. Like, but it's not like that at all. We're not here to judge. We're here to learn. And by not sending us a file, no one learns. There are things that, if you are not the first person to make the pronunciation mistakes or issues or whatever that you make, there are millions, billions of people out there making the same or speaking the same way. So whatever contribution you give is going to be helpful to other people. So I strongly encourage you to consider sending us a file. Okay. Nick, yes. Actually, I'm going to talk to Nick later today. What's up, Nick? Is this the same Nick? I think it's the same Nick. Okay. Thanks for joining our live, man, and thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. You can go back to lurking again if you want. We're friendly, though. See, look, we're very friendly. We're so happy he did that. Okay. Oh no, Maria makes the comment. I realized don't know English pronunciation. Like I thought that's I was actually talking with Emmanuel about this. How sometimes studying pronunciation can actually make you feel worse about your speaking. Because it's like you suddenly are become aware of like this whole other aspect. Like, oh my gosh, like my whole life I've talked a certain way and it's not standard. Oh my gosh. It makes you start questioning everything. Maybe you even get to like, I don't say anything right. I've never said anything right. And it's like, well, no, that's not, that's not true. We're keep in mind here, we're being very nitpicky, in terms of the things that we're discussing. We're trying to do all the types of things that native speakers are doing that people learning English don't do. So whatever you contribute are things that can be helpful to other people. Yeah, it's harsh, but it's also I don't know. It's a journey. There's no the end destination is not as important as the progress and steps we do to get there. I do want to, again, just kind of make you aware of an opportunity that we do have. So I have a program called Mission English. I want to show you a quick trailer for it, and then we'll discuss it really quick, and then finish up with our last audio files. But really quick, check this out. I think it will be helpful for you.
Ooh, notice that for me. I'm not really having that. And it doesn't sound exactly the same. Like ooh, but they're close enough for the speech that you're doing in daily life. It'll be really nice day. Really nice day. So what I'm hearing, really nice. So what happened when she put day at a lower pitch? Really nice day. Okay. I would say I thought for the most part, I thought pretty good. I think there were a couple words. Do you want to watch out for a little bit? Yeah, there you go. That last one's great.
Yep. So again, Mission English is our program. It runs Monday through Friday. It's in a private Facebook group where basically it's kind of like a live stream like this, but in some ways even at the moment it's kind of less structured because people get to pop in with me on screen and ask about a specific pronunciation question that they have, and then we get to talk about it. And sometimes there's multiple people with us. Sometimes we have 3-4 people on the stream at the same time. We're handling all kinds of questions. Oftentimes in 30 minutes, that's how long each live stream is. We are covering 5, 6 to even 10 different aspects of pronunciation that you can use to improve your own speech. Okay, so that sounds like something you'd be interested in. We have a small, nice little family going. If you go to fluentamerican.com, there's an option in the tab where you can see for Mission English, so you can subscribe, get into our private Facebook group. The other nice thing about it, too, you heard the A sound. But the other thing about it, too, is that, what was I going to say? I was going to get distracted. Oh, all the live streams are saved because they're all saved into the private group, so you can always replay the things. Just because you remember doesn't mean you have to appear on the stream, though it would be great to talk to you for the very same reasons that we mentioned earlier. And, yeah, it's every single day of the week. And so basically your subscription would be $30 for the month, and I'm trying to keep things as economical as possible. If you look at pronunciation classes with other teachers, $30 might not even get you one class with some teachers, So just some things to consider there if you're serious about trying to improve your pronunciation in a community where we're all kind of just learning together and having some fun. It would be great to have you in the group. But again, that'll be at fluentamerican.com. You'll see the option for Mission English. Maria talking about her experience. Books talking about pronunciation, but teachers never focused on it. Totally ignored it. Yeah. You and like everyone else. Having worked at language centers before and having gone through language centers in my own language learning experience, I know that's the case. What often happens is pronunciation is not a topic that is covered until you reach the higher levels. Like C1, C2. In a lot of cases, for a lot of languages, if you're familiar with the European framework. So pronunciation, if it is taught at the beginner levels, it's usually super basic stuff that is oversimplified. And doesn't get into the intricacies of really how to sound natural. And a lot of teachers teaching beginner pronunciation are actually kind of doing a disservice because they'll teach you a word, they'll teach you how to say, okay, school. Okay, so repeat after me, class, school. But people don't talk like that, right? People say school. They don't say school. They say school. So just super exaggerated pronunciations and things like that. So I think it's a very common experience. Let me know your thoughts, though. Did you feel like in school you had great pronunciation teachers? You had no pronunciation teachers? You had horrible pronunciation teachers? I would love to know what your guys' experiences were in school. But I imagine that it's kind of similar to that. I think that's very, very common. All right, that being said, we've done our original group of audio files. We're going to take a look at Justin's. And if someone else wants to add one in, we still have a little bit of time for it. Or if you have some other pronunciation questions, you can let me know too. But these are the words for the file. Let's actually see. Yeah, see? I've been there. I know what happens. I am very much aware of what happens in school. You don't... I know. Before we get to Justin's file, Justin, thank you for your patience.
Question.
Any shortcuts? Lower placement, loosen up sounds. I'm always nervous to use the word relaxation because if it's something that's new, it might not actually feel relaxed. It's going to feel like work. You know, when people think relaxation, they think like, oh yeah, I'm gonna chill at the beach. You know, if I'm drinking a drink, I'm drinking my drink. You know, hanging out with some friends. But yeah, that's not what this relaxation is about. It might feel like work. Okay. Some standard placement exercises I do with students a lot. If you've seen other live streams, you already know the things I'm probably about to say. But for instance, you can take a sound. For instance, let's use the sound that your language has. This is actually the next video is coming out. It's talking about, this is another beginner pronunciation video, but I hope those of you watching will still check it out too, because there may be some things in there that are not just for beginners. Okay. Let's take an E sound. Most languages have an E. And what we'll try to do is, can you take it down 5 times? So just say E, whatever feels natural to you. Just say E. Great. Now let's try to take it down 5 times. So this was my natural E. E. Now I'm going to try to take that 5 times down. It's like E, 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 E. Okay? So I'm going to do that again. E, 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 E. We can also do the opposite. Okay, so we can start from a lower position and go up 5 times. Like E, 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 E. You know, other things too is that sometimes not even just all about lower placement. Can you do even higher placement? Sometimes it can be helpful to do the opposite direction, like E, 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 E. Okay, so just building awareness. So doing exercises like that. Okay, just to kind of get an understanding what it feels like. Okay. Other things you can link it together, like E. You can fall and then rise, like E. You can take it super high, like E. You know, it's like the goal is, again, not to get the perfect placement. The goal is to understand what it feels like when you're moving your placement in different positions. Know what that feels like. Another way you can kind of check yourself too is try to understand where you really feel the heavy vibration. Okay, thank you so much to Emmanuel for saying the kind words about the beginner videos. I appreciate that. So what I would say is try to understand where you're feeling the vibration the heaviest. Like if I say like E, oh wow, like my teeth are shaking, my jaw is shaking, everything's moving here. My whole headspace is really vibrating. E. But conversely, I'm not getting any vibration down here. There's nothing. E. Nothing here. But if I do E, now it's the opposite. I'm getting vibration in the throat, even down here a little bit, but I'm not getting any vibration in my headspace. E. So that's your body's way of telling you where your placement is. If you're feeling any sort of vibration up here from like your lower jaw up, anywhere in your headspace, that's an immediate sign that your placement's high. If you don't feel any vibration there, but you're feeling vibration here, that's an immediate sign your placement's low. Another exercise you can do, go to the beginning of the stream where we talked about breathing exercises, which we talked about. So for instance, again, like putting your hands, again, in case people haven't seen us from the beginning, we're going to do a quick breathing exercise to try to get our diaphragm, lower position involved. So for instance, if I take my knuckles and I put them on my ribs, I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to keep my shoulders down, though. And you can see that my hands kind of pulled apart, right? Expanding and then contracting. Okay, so now what you can do is try to, as you do the exhale, try to do a vowel sound. So let's do that E sound again. Okay, so breathe in. Saw my hands expand. Now I'm going to breathe out and I'm going to say E. E. Hear all that breath come out? So again. E. Notice that the air keeps flowing even after the vowel sound finishes. This is another key component. You don't want to just stop the breath. Okay. Another thing you can do as well with that, for instance, if you're studying like a schwa sound, I feel like I do this at every live stream at some point. One of the most helpful exercises you can actually do is to laugh. Because when I do, what am I doing? I'm making a schwa sound. I'm also engaging my diaphragm, so I already know I'm doing two things. I know I'm using the right muscle, I'm using my core to breathe, because I can feel my diaphragm tensing and relaxing whenever I laugh, and then I can apply that to a schwa sound. It's like was done, so like it just all carries over, so those are some other exercises that you can try doing with regards to sound to see if those are helping you get a lower placement. Those are some exercises I strongly would recommend. Okay. And in case you're just joining us, welcome. We're trying to find our newbies. Who are our new people just joining the stream for the first time? If you're new, you've never seen us before, say hey in the chat, and then you can disappear again. I won't hurt you. I just want to know you're here. Nick was already brave enough to say hello. We appreciate that, Nick. But let's get to this document here. So again, if it's your first time, what we do every single Saturday at this time is we take a look at your pronunciation files. I see a couple people hanging out up here. What kind of animals do I have up here? I have an anonymous rabbit. That's nice. And an anonymous manatee. Cool. You could be up here as well trying to input your own pronunciation file for us to take a look at if you so chose to. And basically you would go to vocab.com as we were about to, as we check out Justin's file. And I had taken his text, but I don't think I've actually... Oh, I did place it in. I was ahead of the game. I just slowed down a lot. Justin, thanks for your patience. Okay, so basically you go to vocab.com, you record yourself, it then sends you a link, you put this link into our document, and then we'll be able to hear you and give some suggestions if you're trying to get a more natural sound, and American English is your goal. It doesn't have to be. But Justin's been super, super patient. Let's hear what Justin has to say and how he has to say it, more importantly.
Like, I think I wanted almost like a fantasy where it's almost not real.
That rising intonation threw me off. I thought there was going to be more at the end, and then it just ended. I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're done.
It's almost not real.
Yeah, it's definitely a false ending. Okay. I think your placement's really high for this entire time, I'll be honest. And you already know. Justin already knows. He already knows what I was going to say. He already knows. Let me hear it again.
Like, I think I wanted almost like a fantasy where it's almost not real.
Like, I think I want it almost like a fantasy where it's almost not real. Versus if I had a lower placement, I would say, like, I think I want it almost like a fantasy where it's almost not real. Hear a difference between that one I just did there and the first time, so and in hearing this,
like, I think I wanted almost like,
in hearing this, I do think that you could go with a slightly lower register and it wouldn't be a strain. I think you could go with lower pitches and a lower placement and you would still be okay. I don't think it would cause pain or mega discomfort aside from just being new. And it's not necessarily a bad thing to have high placement. There are times when you're speaking, especially if you're going with higher pitches, like, wow, I had a pretty high placement there at the start. Wow. And then it opens up more at the end. But the key thing is that even if you have a high placement, you want to make sure enough air is passing through your throat. So I would, strongly recommend looking at all those breathing exercises we have done to this point.
Like, I think I wanted almost like a fantasy.
I think fantasy is probably the word that has the lowest placement.
Where it's almost not...
Almost also has a pretty low placement there too. Okay. No, but you're doing some good again, like I would say, listen to how you said those words.
Like, I think I wanted almost like a fantasy where it's almost not real.
I would say, especially the second half, I thought in general had a lower placement. It had a little bit more breath coming through, a little bit more resonance.
Like a fantasy where it's almost not real.
Like not real, like not real. I would say maybe on dark L sounds, like real. You know, if you're just to give some other quick examples, some dark L sounds that end a word that I would encourage you to practice a little bit. Real. And okay, so here's some quick words I would encourage you to kind of practice a little bit with dark L sounds at the end to make sure your dark L's are not impacting your vowel. Okay, and I would do a progression like this. So first off, just doing like then add a consonant, it's like vol, and then do the whole word level. It's like vol level. Try to join them all together in one breath. Keep the air flowing. Vol level. Okay. Same thing with the next word. So we have trouble. So like all ball trouble. You know, try and do that. Our next one, real. It's like all eel real. All eel real. Our next one, deal. So all eel deal. Deal. Next one, still. Still. Like, actually, this isn't the best example. It would be helpful if I had this multiple syllable word. Forget about still, because it's a little bit different. But that sound will sound like still. It's like ill still. You practice that. Ill still. Okay. We'll get back to more things just in a moment, but question here.
Question.
Your larynx coming down as you lower your placement. Everyone has the same biology. It's not that, Americans are born with a lower larynx. No, we're all the same bodies. What I will say is that, your body position does have an... great question, Ludwig. We'll talk about this in a moment. That's a great question. Your body position does have an impact on your larynx. If I do this, it has a different sound than if I do this. Again, compare. If I do this, the only thing I'm changing is my shoulders. So if you're a person that maybe when you're nervous or things like that, if you find that your body naturally tenses, you're doing this instead of this, you're automatically putting yourself in a difficult position to speak natural American English. Because when you do this, you raise your larynx, and so not as much air can move through your throat. Okay, so pay attention to that. That can have an impact. Again, getting your diaphragm more involved with your speech, getting more air to pass through. These are the things that have an impact on the sound. Placement's great, but it's not the whole battle. You could have the best placement in the world, but if you don't have the right breath passing through, it's never going to sound completely natural. Breath is just as, if not more important than placement in getting that American English sound. Thank you for that question. It's a great question. Was it real or Rio? So I actually have a video on this same topic, but just to give you some quick things to compare, if you find it hard to hear the difference between an O sound and an all sound, let's do 4 examples to get started. Okay, see if you can hear a difference between these words. Go, go, so, sol, mo, mol, ro, roll. Go, gol, so, sol, mo, mol, ro, roll, all. So again, with those dark L sounds, hopefully you can hear the difference there a little bit. If you can't, cool. That means that you know what you need to study. Okay? But for those dark L sounds, basically, you need that back of your tongue to be a little higher and that front of your tongue to be lower. And it's going to be lower. Oh. So again, let's just do the dark L words. Go, sol, mol, roll. Now let's do the O words. So go, so, mo, ro. So hopefully that can help hear the difference. If you're having trouble with that, repeat that section of the live stream just over and over again. I think that'll be helpful. So it's not exactly the same. Not exactly the same sounds. Slightly different sounds. All right, going back to Justin's file to see if there were other things that we wanted to discuss. Dum, 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 dum. Play that again.
Like, I think I wanted almost like a fantasy.
Okay, so let's go back to that beginning part, because that's the part that has the highest placement. Okay. Thank you, man. What's up to Zabeta checking in the house? Great to see you, miss.
Is he still in there?
Where's our file? Where is it? Okay, so that first part was the part that I think had the tensest placement and was blocking the most air.
Like, I think I wanted almost like a...
Like, I think I want almost... Especially like almost.
Almost like...
That most sound. Can you say most? I would do this exercise for most, like oh mo most, oh mo most. And if you find doing oh mo, like oh mo versus oh mo, can you hear a difference there between oh mo and oh mo? You know, so I think what's happening is the it sounds to me like the back of your tongue's a little bit too high. It also seems like you're so focused on the tongue and the mouth position that it's causing things to shift. You know, if you're making your O sound, let me hear how you're saying mo.
Almost like
mo. I'm guessing that your lips are slightly rounding on that mo sound. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. You'd be like, Jeff, you're wrong. That's not true at all. You're like, okay, that's fine. It's just a guess. I'm guessing that your lips are kind of rounding on that mo sound. It's like mo versus mo. Let me make myself big again so you can see me. Okay, it's like mo. Notice how straight my lips are. Mo. You know, the way a lot of times this O sound is taught to be like oh, or things like that where you're finishing with super tense round lips. And you can make that work. I don't want to say that's wrong. I can say go. I can do that. But it works because I'm still letting air through my throat. I'm staying open through here. If I'm not, because what a lot of people are doing when they're rounding their lips, they're tensing everything up. So instead of doing O, they're doing O. So now they're shifting all your placement forward. Okay, your placement needs to stay here. Your throat needs to stay open. So if you find that doing O is causing you, making your lips round is causing you to shift your placement forward as well, then hey, maybe it would be better to go straighter lips and do more O. Because you can still get a very natural sound that way too. Okay. So again, I would try to say oh mo most, oh mo most, oh mo most. Notice again with those pretty straight lips. I think that's all I got for you right now, Justin. But hopefully that is helpful. Okay, that being said, I'm going to give back your screen. I'll hang on just for another minute or two in case people have some last questions. But I also wanted to say thank you guys for joining me. You know, we cannot do this stream without you. Thanks for those of you who sent files in. Thank you so much. You know, we can't. This stream does not work without you. I cannot do this without your audio files and things like that. I'm hoping that we can all learn together. So even if you did not send a file in today, hopefully there are still things that you could pick up and apply to your own speech. Because that is certainly, we all can learn from each other. That is a very true thing. So pronunciation is so important. Most people don't study it. It's very difficult to learn something new when you're pronouncing it another way. Yeah, I mean, that kind of gets at the whole difficulty of pronunciation in a nutshell. The difficulty is that you're not just learning pronunciation, you are unlearning a pronunciation system that you've used for years in a second language, and then you're being like, oh, I want to change this now. So it's like, you know, if pronunciation were just like, oh, you just have to learn a new system, cool. But the fact that you have to actually unlearn a different system is what just compounds the difficulty so much. Okay. All right, guys. So that kind of concludes what I have for you for today. If you want to support the stream, please do me a favor and like it. If you know other people that would be interested in having their own pronunciation analyzed with me, tell them about it. Share it. And of course, if you want to work with me every single day of the week, we have two options for you. We have a Telegram group where if you're just looking for like a like a one sentence, a couple words to practice saying every single day. That's what the Telegram group is for. Just to kind of get that 5 minutes of pronunciation study in. Or if you want something more serious, you want to join me on stream and ask me questions every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, then check out Mission English. Both of these things you can also find at fluentamerican.com. But thank you so much for your time, guys. I do appreciate it. Check out our video tomorrow, which is going to be talking about vowel sounds, the most common vowel sounds among languages and how to pronounce them in American English in a way that sounds very, very natural. We'll talk about breath. We'll talk about placement, all those things you guys are always asking me questions about, which is great. But thank you so much for your time. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. Thank you, Maria. Thanks to you. And yeah, we'll talk soon, guys.